Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. It's Brandon again, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm in my kitchen. It's not like I keep my microwave and my stove in my bedroom. It's a little kinky even for me. But what I wanted to show you was my post-workout meal today, or just a breakfast if you will. Now the key to my breakfast, what you'll probably find out, is I use a lot of the same ingredients time after time. But for me, I really try to diversify the way that I eat these foods so they still seem fresh and things just don't get stale or boring. So I'll show you that in just a second. I also get the question all the time of if you train fasted or not, which you guys should know if you watch my workout videos. Yes, I do train fasted. So that leads to the question, why is that better? And the answer is no, not really. And in most cases, you'll find it can actually detract from your overall workout depending on how long you're in the gym for. However, the reason that I do it is simply for its convenience. So I get up early, typically around 5 a.m., and I'm in the gym by 5:15 or 5:30. I get my training done. I come home and I eat my post-workout meal. Now with this, however, if I were to eat beforehand, I'd ideally like to give myself at least an hour to let my food digest. One of the things that I've found is if I eat too soon before training, I feel sluggish and full, and sometimes I've even puked after an intense workout, which is not beneficial, losing all my gains. So one of the things I've been kind of experimenting with is training fasted, and for me it works. I can still see strength progression, I feel light, I don't feel tired, but again the key for me is keeping my workouts usually within an hour or so. So that's the only reason I train fasted, only for its convenience. There is no benefit of doing that. You'll also notice I'm wearing a shirt, Nerd Fight Club. This is from Brian Nielsen, who has a YouTube channel, which I'm going to go ahead and link in an annotation on the screen right now, as well as in the description box below. He's been putting out some great videos. He's doing Wendler 531. He also does a lot of cooking type videos. So if you haven't seen his channel already, please go and check him out. Tell him I sent you. So let's take a look at some of the foods I'm going to be using today. Again, pretty much staples in my diet. So you have eggs, you have milk. You'll always see a lot of this ham steak or even, cereal. In this case, I'm using Captain Crunch because it's chocolate. In this case, I'm actually going to be using a wrap as well, some baby spinach. I have some milk, some hot sauce. So all staples, you'll see these all the time. And what we're going to be making today, you probably guessed it, is a breakfast wrap. You can also think of it as a breakfast burrito, maybe a breakfast taco if you want to cook this actual wrap a little bit. And then just a side of cereal so I can get enough carbs in. I always try to get a little bit more carbs than protein. Typically you're looking at higher carbs, medium protein, and moderate fat, I would say. So my fat a lot of times is going to be a little bit less than my protein intake. So let's go ahead and set this up and get cooking. Alright, so we got our pan going on medium heat. I have some non-stick cooking spray on here as well. The first thing I'm going to add is my ham steak. These things are great because they're low calorie. You're looking only about 70 calories per ham steak with low fat, low carbs, but you get about 12 grams of protein out of it. So I really like to add these in to up the protein levels. I'm then going to go ahead and be adding these eggs. You'll be seeing that I'm using a little bit bigger pan today. I'm going to cook everything in one pan only because I'm lazy and I don't like to use 8 different pans to cook. I try to cut down on this stuff when possible. So I'm going to go ahead and just add this egg in. I'm using whole eggs here. A lot of people like to avoid using egg yolks for some reason that's beyond me. I don't know why. We definitely need a video on that. I think you guys are watching too much Scooby when it comes to eggs. But eggs are great overall source of protein, fat, a lot of micronutrients as well. So we're going to go ahead and add those in and start letting those cook. Now while we're doing that, what we can do is we can get our cereal ready. I'm not going to show you that only because if you don't know how to get a bowl of cereal ready, then I have a lot of lost faith in humanity in that case, as I shed a single tear, and you can't see it because it's not on camera. But I'm going to let this cook a little bit and we'll come back and take a look in just a second. Alright, so as this continues to cook, one of the things that I like to do is hit it with some salt and pepper while it's cooking. So there we just got some pepper, and now just salt as well. Now with salt, a lot of people have issues with it, and I see a lot of comments saying, oh, this has too much sodium. You guys have to remember, sodium is an essential nutrient, something that should be in your diet. All too often I see the problem of people having actually too low of sodium rather than too high. And things to take into consideration is potassium intake, stuff like that. I think I have a video on salt that I talk about this. If not, it's something I'll do in the future. But you shouldn't be afraid of sodium. What you should be afraid of is when you severely vary the levels you take in. So going low to high, high to low, and keep flip-flopping back and forth. So the way I take a look at it, I just try to keep sodium high as is. So now this has been cooking for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and flip this. You'll see I'm just using whole eggs here. I didn't actually scramble them up. You can really do that if you want. I've kind of been on this sunny side up egg kick. Now what I'm going to do is try to separate this a little bit from my ham. My ham and my eggs, trying to get it on a little bit when I'm not looking. So I'm just going to flip this over. And I'm going to flip these eggs as well. Oh, look at that. Didn't mess up. So you see mine are a little bit brown. I like mine a little bit more well done, but it's really up to you. The great thing with any of these cooking videos is you can really change them to your liking. So I get a lot of comments from people saying, hey, can I add this or can I change that? Hell yeah, you can. Do whatever the hell you want. You're the one cooking it. You're the one that's going to eat it. So I'm probably just going to hit them with some salt and pepper on this side too. Let them cook for just a little bit on this side. I'm not going to need them to cook that long on this side only because they were so well done on the other side, which again is I kind of like. So we'll come right back and I'll show you how to plate this and just what I do. Now another thing I like to do is as I'm getting this tortilla ready, I like to put it in the microwave to soften it up a bit. I'm sure we've all been in this scenario where we try to make a wrap, everything looks great, we put it in the tortilla, and then finally what happens is when you actually wrap it, this thing breaks and everything falls out. So we're just gonna put it in the microwave, probably only for about 15 seconds in this case. It's hard to look at the viewfinder and hit that, so 15 seconds, let that go. I like to do this right at the end, obviously, because you don't want to cook it and then have to wait for everything else to finish, as that kind of defeats the purpose of microwaving it really quick. Alright, so here we have everything cooked up. We have our tortilla, we have our ham steak, which are already cut up. I have some spinach on here as well. I put it raw. If you really want to, you can cook this in the skillet with everything else. It'll add some flavor and also kind of cut down on the size of some of this stuff. I have my 1 serving of Captain Crunch here, which is 27 grams, as well as about 100 milliliters of milk. Now all I need to do is add my eggs in, which I'm gonna do right now, on top. And then of course, gotta get that Frank's Red Hot. Just put a little bit on here, and then just fold this up. So for this meal, what you're looking at here, the macros, you're looking at about 496, about 500 calories, roughly 53 grams of carbs, 33 grams of protein, and about 17 grams of fat. So really good macros in my opinion on this. Again, if you watch my latest video, it's really hard to judge a specific meal, but you have to take a look at the context of it in an overall diet. So this really works into my numbers well, allows me to eat several meals a day, which I like to do, no real benefit to, other than I just prefer to do it that way, because when it comes down to it, that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you guys watching, and as always, stay big.